Alright, welcome to Season 1, Race 19 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, Jaguar Racing F1 team, and we are at the United States Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. We are all set for qualifying here. Take care of a few housekeeping things. First, the R&D, we've actually we have fully jumped AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo, the two Alphas. So we are currently the 7th fastest team, which is I think the highest we've been thus far in the entire season in terms of performance. And we still have one more major upgrade to come, which I believe, if I check the tree, it's coming in for Brazil. It's coming in November 2nd, and that's before the Brazilian Grand Prix. Yep, so that's correct. So there is that. Yeah, but we still have one more major upgrade to come in, so who knows, maybe we'll catch McLaren and Renault in the performance chart before the end of the season. We'll see. In terms of R&D, we actually have a ton of resource points after practice, so we can go ahead and adapt some parts here. We'll start with this general wear. That's good. We'll go with the 2 chassis upgrades right here. And I think we have enough for one more. We'll go with the engine upgrade right here. So with that, we are about 25% adapted on the chassis, 11% on the durability, and don't think these can be adapted. It's kind of weird because it's showing 9 for the durability, even though I haven't actually purchased these parts or these durability upgrades. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know why it's showing 9 there. And then powertrain, we're about 18% of the way there, so things are going good on that front. And with that, we will go to qualifying, and actually we'll do a quick standings check. So I think we're probably going to get eliminated from the title contention in this race, which is fine. I wasn't expecting to contend for the title. But yeah, so we will get going to one-shot qualifying. See where we end up. Alright, here we go. Let's see where we end up. Well, that was a weird noise. This S section's one that's it's like sort of the S sections at the Japanese Grand Prix where if you don't nail it, it's gonna screw up your whole lap. So that second to last corner can catch you out sometimes too, especially on a qualifying lap. And I went a little wide last corner, which doesn't help. Alright, P10, we'll take P10. Oh, we're 7th. How are we? Okay, that was really weird. It said we were 7th, then we were 10th. What's the story here?
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Hamilton, Verstappen, and Valtteri Bottas.
That was
Goodbye
a
for
weird
now then, but we're really just getting
little
started.
glitch.
Make sure to join us again for Lights
Not
Out
sure what
tomorrow.
the reason for that was. But nonetheless, we're all set to go. P10, we'll take that. Obviously that means we have to start on the soft tire, while everyone behind us will have free choice. And there is some rain in the forecast. Not as, I don't think it'll come as early as the rain in Japan did. I think we're definitely going to be going onto wet tires before the end. I definitely think that's happening. Qualifying the last 2 weeks has been a little bit tricky for us. Haven't exactly nailed it the way I would have liked. Maybe it's just the tracks and more. I don't know. Maybe it's the nature of Suzuka and Austin. Don't have any other explanation other than that. So yeah, just waiting to get this started. Alright, we're all set to go. Messages. As you can see, rain. So I definitely think we're going to be going on to rain tires for sure. Strategy will be interesting, depending on when the rain comes. So we'll see what's in store.
Here we are then in one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, the fabulous Austin, in the great state of Texas. The circuit itself 14 miles southeast of the city centre and home to the US Grand Prix since 2012. The latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honour. We have 10 turns to the left and 10 to the right here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and 12 at this anti-clockwise 3.6 mile track. And we should see average lap speeds of around 126 miles per hour. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Perez, Sainz, Stroll, Vettel, and the owner driver, Ricciardo, Ocon, Lando Norris, and Kvyat, Gasly, Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Kevin Magnussen, Russell, Calderon, Grosjean, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Alright, so both Vettel and Grosjean had 5-place grid penalties. Vettel drops to just right in front of us on the grid. And it should be interesting. Again, Hamilton is starting on pole. He can't win the championship today, but he can further solidify it if he finishes ahead of all his rivals. So we'll see how it goes into turn 1.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
Now, normally I would be against running softs, but depending on when the rain hits, that might be the best option, just so we can push all the way until the rain comes. But again, it's going to be very much determined on when the rain hits. So I think that's a good strategy to go with. Just responding to a text here. Excuse me.
Okay, here's who we're really fighting today, Vettel and Ricciardo.
Usually, I typically have been able to get some great starts going up the hill into turn 1. So, that's going to be our goal. We'll see how many spots we can potentially gain off the start.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
There you go. I think that'll be pretty much confirmation, and we'll see when we get closer to that first pit stop. I think that'll be confirmation that we're going to be just sticking when we pit, where we go on to another set of soft tires, and then just run it until the rain. And nobody's going on an alternate strategy, so everyone... So no alternate strategies by anyone, so it's going to be a pretty straightforward race on everyone's part, I would think.
rest of the grid is forming up, be patient and watch for the lights.
Alright. Got a bunch of good qualifying by the Racing Point guys, getting up in 6th and 8th. Good job by them, but we're worried about us. Get ready, 5 red lights. And we're off in the US Grand Prix. Oh, great start. Stroll squeezing us in the wall, but he can't keep us there forever. A big dive into the first turn. Ooh, a little too hard at Bottas. Right about there. Just get a better break. It's gonna be close to P4. Just managed to barely hold on to P4. Getting past Leclerc.
That's a decent start. Good job.
So we're P10 to P4. I'd say that's a pretty good start to this race. Now we're just gonna push. And crucially, Max Verstappen managed to get ahead of Lewis Hamilton on the start. So Verstappen is going to lead the US Grand Prix. I have a horrible exit. I think what's... I never came through there, but my headphones are going through a little bit of a issue there in that first section of the lap. Just took a second to pause. I think that threw me off in that corner. As we really put a gap between ourselves and Leclerc. Well, I say that and we just threw it away. Not taking that corner properly. There we go, that's better. I'm a little surprised at how much of a gap we have to Leclerc already, almost a full second. Really closed up. That hairpin there was also, it really helps you down this straight, because I usually get a really good exit out of that hairpin, and that allows me to gain some distance on the guy behind me. So, that corner is a particularly good one for us, especially on exit. We get a lot of traction. It enables us to get going a little bit faster. Yeah, but as of now, the only person who will be gaining points on Hamilton will be Max Verstappen.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use
There we
DRS,
go, DRS
within
enabled.
1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Not necessarily good news for us, because that's going to mean that Leclerc and Albon will have the chance to attack down the 2 DRS straights. As Verstappen and the 2 Mercedes begin to scoot away off into the distance. Leclerc is right up our
Accumulating
gearbox.
some wear on the MGUK. To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
We can do that later, because right now we're worried about defending from a hard-charging Charles Leclerc. And again, it's supposed to show that traction we get out of that hairpin really works out for us in defending. And that's been something that's been commonplace for me throughout all the recent F1 games. It's just that corner is where we gain so much time on the car behind us. We're able to sort of stave off any DRS attacks.
Right, we have a very worn-out MG UK. Our battery charge speed is suffering, and if it gets much worse, we could be forced to retire.
I don't know what he's talking about with the MG UK. I mean, it's definitely worn. I'll give him that. But it's at 56%. We're nowhere near the point where we might have to retire the car. So I don't know what Jeff's talking about there. We should be in pretty good shape. Not the best complex of corners there. Leclerc is going to have another shot at us.
We think we may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes.
Leclerc is closer. Again, not able to catch us. Also, something I noticed very early on is that we sort of... Honestly, the cars, the Verstappen and the two Mercedes have pulled away. But then you got myself and Leclerc and Albon who are in our own little pack. And then the Force Indias are basically... the rest of the pack is a train for the Force Indias are... Force India. Racing points. How could I make that mistake? Racing points. Racing points are holding up everybody behind them massively. Big train, pretty much. So I assume once pit stops get underway, that'll separate a little bit.
Gap to car in front is 7.3 seconds.
Now Bottas has started to fall off from Hamilton and Verstappen based on the mini-map.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
About 2 laps. They want us to pit. Or when the pit window would open. I actually haven't really checked my tire wear. It's actually not that bad, given that it's 6 laps into the race.
They seem to have an issue. Okay, some information on Bottas.
Oh, well, there's the reason why Bottas has fallen off. He has an issue. Now, he's so far ahead of us, I don't know if we'll be able to catch him by the time he potentially resolves that issue. But, yeah, that just goes to pile on. Blair goes to make a move. We'll go defensive to the inside. Should be able to keep the spot. But that just goes to show the really poor luck when it comes to reliability that Bottas has had. I mean, this would be a much closer championship fight if Bottas, if the number of DNFs he's had this season have been cut in half or were cut in half.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
He would be much closer to his teammate Hamilton in the title fight. Which I gotta feel bad for him, because that's what really screwed him over this year. Nothing on him, it's the car that's failing him. And it's even more frustrating for him in that Hamilton has had no reliability issues at all this year. So it's not like it's a, as I make my way through the S's here, I was saying, it's not like it's a Mercedes general issue. It's an issue just with his side of the garage. So, yeah, excuse me. Maybe we'll see if he's, I doubt he'll move to a different team, but see if he's not that happy as Leclerc goes to make a pass to the inside, can't do it. Again, watch, look at how much, I mean, it's not that big, but we gained time on the car behind us at some point. That is the point, as we are able to defend the position. So can we get P3? I don't know. I think this is one of those mechanical issues that's going to get resolved before we even catch the guy. So I'm not counting on it. But
Verstappen has the lead.
As far as hitting, my thought is just come in whenever Hamilton and Verstappen come in. If they come in, that'll be our cue to come into the pits as well.
Pit window open. Let's box this lap. The rain is a few laps out yet, but it is coming. Be careful. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
What's funny about that is that normally when the rain is coming, I'll see the clouds start to get a little grayer, and then it'll start raining. But it hasn't happened just yet. It has not happened just yet. And again, Leclerc is right on our gearbox. Big move. He's there. Ooh, he locks it up.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
He's going to have DRS, but we're going to be right in his slipstream. He's not going to get away. Let's go with the outside. A little bit of contact there. Close racing. And we get the spot back. And Verstappen and Hamilton come to the pits, and that's what we'll do too.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain. Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap. Roger that. Soft tyres at the next pit stop.
And this is I don't know what it is. Every time I come to that pit entry here at Austin, I always have that problem where it sort of, I don't know, it blocks me off, or I just come in real slow. It's just a nice, tight entry. I guess that's just the problem.
Go now.
On to softs, and we're good. You're out.
Up to speed now.
Looks like
Let's get some heat
Verstappen
into those tyres.
managed to increase his edge over Hamilton coming out of the pits. Hamilton almost got stuck behind Leclerc and Albon, which would have been disastrous for his race, in all honesty. Now it's just a question of when everybody else comes into the pits. I don't know if anyone can stretch their softs to the rain. If they did, that would be a massive catastrophe for us, but we'll just keep going here and see what happens. So I presume Bottas is pitting this time, as he does. He pits. We haven't seen, the only, midfield car that's pitted besides us is Sainz. And I think one of the Haas's. Leclerc and Albon are in, as is a bunch of other people. So, we'll see where we come out here in relation to Albon and Leclerc. We're going to have a full head of steam coming down the straightaway here.
The car behind has come in. They're now on the soft tyre.
And we are going to edge them out. I think we're actually going to gain a bit of a gap to them. Yeah, we're over 2 seconds. We're just about 2 seconds ahead of Leclerc. So, yeah, good news for us. That is for sure. Bottas is getting kind of stuck in traffic. I assume all those guys are going to pit the next lap or two. Big dive bomb on Latifi. Yeah, a little tight, but we get by. No problem. Of course, Latifi is the slowest car, so we should get by him very easily. And now the clouds are starting to darken, finally. I would guess that people are going to be hitting the pits this time by. Some of them do, some of them don't. Fiat and Ocon into the pits. Bottas into P10. Curious if any of the guys in front of us are going to try to stretch it. Again, I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
You've moved up into P10.
Curious to see if they can stretch it. Maybe thinking, hey, maybe the soft tires can take us to the rain. I don't know. It's going to be close for them, but we'll see. Could be an issue if it starts raining now, because our teammate is right in front of us. And obviously that's going to be a big detriment to the pits if it starts raining, because they are going to, cost us a bunch of time on pit road. My guess is that they're going to hit the pits this time. I don't think they can take their tires that far into the race. And it's starting to rain now, so maybe they are thinking that.
Confirming that we'll be fitting the intermediate tires.
It'll be interesting to see what the timing of everything is here. In regards to, I presume next time by it's going to be ready for full wets. Well, not full wet, but intermediate tires. Oh, I think those guys are going to be very unlucky. I think it's going to be wet any time for intermediates, any second now. And look at this, look who's in front of me.
We've pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Antonio Giovinazzi trying to pull another rabbit out of his hat like he did in Japan. Taking those tires a long way. I got a wing change for Sergio Perez. Guess he made contact with someone at some point, but it doesn't look like his front wing is that badly damaged, so not sure what the issue is for Perez. Now those guys are going to be incredibly unlucky. If any of them had started on the mediums, they would have been able to get away with staying out another lap or two. Yeah, but Giovinazzi did the same thing in
This light rain is going to be with us for a while
Japan,
now.
where he pulled a one stop, going just straight from his soft tires to wet weather tires, and I think he ended up sixth. I want to say fifth or sixth. I think it was sixth. I want to say, but he is doing a great job. Actually, I think Lance Stroll is doing the same thing. He hasn't stopped either. So Stroll,
Okay,
once
be careful
again...
on those slicks. These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
So Stroll is once again doing a worldly job, and as I say that, he dives into the pits, as does Giovinazzi. And I presume they're going on to dries. So it worked out for them until it didn't work out. Unless they do change onto the intermediates now, which I don't think they are. I presume they're not. Yeah, they're going on to dry tires. In other news, Hamilton and Verstappen have absolutely run away with this race. They're full 25 seconds ahead of Bottas. We're 27 seconds to Hamilton. So, yeah, that traffic was really detrimental to Bottas' race, because he is now, he's out of it. He's like a full pit stop behind the guys in front of him. He's basically out of contention for a win. At this point, he's just trying to hold on to his podium. Still hasn't resolved the issue as far as I'm aware. So, you could still be right for the picking here.
Okay, even though we're seeing cars struggle in these conditions, if we pit for inters now, we're going to be too slow and we'll burn them out. Make the best of it for the time being.
I guess the key is going to be when the changeover point is. And if it were to stay dry, which it's not, but if it did, we would pit in about 3 or 4 laps, so hopefully that changeover point comes sooner rather than later.
Verstappen's in first place.
You don't need to remind me of that. I'm very aware that Verstappen's in first place.
Bottas is ahead of you. The gap to the car ahead is 2.2 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 3 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1:42.9. You're gaining by 8 tenths. 8 tenths. Okay, I think it might be just about time to come and change these tyres. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Oh, there's the call.
Confirmed.
It says to pit for enters on lap 15. But I wonder if we come in now, because the fact that they told us it's time for intermediates is the sign that it's time for intermediates. But they said it for lap 15, not lap 14, which is what we're on right now, so I'm wondering, maybe I'll do a little undercut, come in now, and see if that can gain me a spot over Bottas.
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
And Bottas is coming in now, so... as is pretty much everyone else. Everybody's coming down the pits right now. I think we might actually jump Bottas just by virtue of the fact that Bottas is getting held, because everyone else is coming in. So we're going to jump Bottas. We're going to be in P...
That was our last stop.
well,
No
we're
more
going to be in
scheduled pit
P3.
stops.
Danny Kvyat did not pit for whatever reason. So he is going to be very slow. For 6.5 seconds behind. Let's see how much time we gain on him before he hits the pits. Interestingly enough, I mean, Verstappen and Hamilton are very lucky that they are as far ahead as they are on track. They are still on dry tires, but for them it doesn't matter because they're so far ahead.
Okay, the stewards have now disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled.
There it is. DRS has been disabled. So we're not going to catch Kvyat, but we will have gained several seconds on him.
Tatiana is in the pits. Tatiana in the pits.
She was already in and out of the pits, Jeff. You don't need to tell me that twice. Okay, so we are in... we're starting lap 16 as Kvyat dives in. We gain about almost 4 or 5 seconds on him. That's the difference between wet conditions and dry and wet conditions. And it's going to be bad news for Kvyat. He's going to drop a ton of spots here. And also, one of the Haas cars didn't pit either, so not good news for
We've
those
got
guys.
a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button.
So now,
This rain is going to keep getting heavier for the next 15 minutes at least.
it's going to be all about just maintaining our gap to third place. Or to fourth place, I should say. So if they finish the way they are, it's going to be interesting. Verstappen will have gained on Hamilton in the championship. Everyone else will lose a little. Vettel, I think, coming into this weekend, or coming out of this race, he's going to be the big loser. That grid penalty dropped him a couple spots. I think he would have been starting originally P4. Maybe for all you know, if he had started P4, we might not have gotten ahead of him. He would be up there with Verstappen and Hamilton. But yeah, Vettel, he's running right now. That's P9, so yeah, his title hopes are going to take a big hit in this race. Big hit for sure. And Verstappen, and it goes back to the problem I think I mentioned in the last race, or after the last race, is that I think the issue is that, you know, even when some of these guys finish ahead of Hamilton, you know, it's not one guy is consistently finishing ahead of Hamilton every single time. It's either like last week, or like in the last race, Verstappen had a grip penalty that kept him out of the points. Vettel was the one who gained it. Now it's sort of the other way around. Verstappen's going to win. He's going to gain some, but he's not going to gain a ton on Hamilton. And it's also helped by the fact that Hamilton is still, you know, is finishing races in the points. He's not had retirement for any sort of mechanical problem at all. So that's what's really doing in the seasons of everyone else fighting for the titles. Is Hamilton is just, he's consistent, but he also has had a car that just doesn't break, which again, to go back to what I said earlier, it just shows how much bad luck Bottas has had. He's had multiple retirements due to mechanical problems. We are actually gaining on 4th place Leclerc. So we are building the gap. We're not obviously catching the guys in front of us, but we are building to 4th, which is good. It just helps us secure our position for what I think. Now, let me think about this. So the last race was Russia, and we got a podium. For the last race was Japan, and we got a podium. We got a podium in Russia. We won Singapore. We won Italy, and then we got a podium in Spa. So we've been on a very strong streak here. Pretty much since Belgium, we've been on the podium. We've either won or been on the podium. So this race looks like at the moment we can continue that trend. Actually, we've had rain for the last 3 races.
Our gap to the car in front is 33.8 seconds.
Rained the whole race in Russia, rained for about half the race in Japan, and rained for just about half the race here in Austin. So we've been getting a lot of wet weather experience as of late on this game. No retirements either, as of yet. No retirements.
You coping okay in this weather? We're watching the amount of standing water on the road. For now, we think it's safe to stay with the Inter.
See if the rain gets heavier. I don't think we're going to be in a situation where we have to go to full wets, especially the later we get into the race. really just left those guys behind us in the dust at this point. Not sure if there's anything we're doing, but we're definitely a lot faster than Claire and Albon right now. Bottas, you know, he did get held up in the pits, but I don't think he fully recovered from that mechanical problem. And just to show you how far ahead Verstappen and Hamilton are, they just started Sector 2, and we only just came up the final corner.
Okay, gap ahead is 34.3 seconds.
That's how far ahead they are. Compared to us right now. They've really run away with this one. And again, that just goes back to what happened earlier when Bottas got stuck in the traffic, and that's what allowed these guys to get as far ahead as they have. Let's see where we are when they cross the finish line.
Conditions are going to keep deteriorating for 10 minutes at least.
So they are crossing the finish line right about now, and we just started Sector 3. So we're about a full sector behind Verstappen and Hamilton right now.
We need to push now. Use your overtake button for more power.
I mean, we really don't need to push. I mean, we're pushing just to maintain the gap to the guys behind us, but we're not going to be pushing to catch the guys in front of us. That's not happening. It does kind of suck when you get these races like this. Not necessarily the rain, but where essentially the final stint, you're pretty much just, you know, because of the way the strategies, the pit stops played out, you're pretty much by yourself on track for the rest of the race, and there's nothing really you can do to gain or lose. Well, you can lose spots by screwing up your laps, but there's nothing you can really do to gain on the guys in front of you. But you know you're pulling away from the guys behind you. It just creates a situation where it ends up being a bit of a boring second half of the race. But that's just how these things go sometimes, I guess. And we're just pushing until the finish, where we should maintain our spot and get a podium. Happy this race is almost over. I have not had dinner yet as I record this. I'm getting kind of hungry, so the timing of this is working out pretty well, I would say. Crazy. I did not expect pull as far away from
Gap to
Leclerc
car in front is
as I have.
35.7 seconds.
And again, we're somehow, some way managing to beat Leclerc in this rivalry. Let's check something on my phone here. And I just noticed that Hamilton did pick up the bonus point for past this lap, and obviously he must have done that in the dry because he's going to keep it.
The gap to the car ahead is 36.1 seconds.
He's going to keep that fastest lap point because nobody's setting the dry. So obviously, nobody's going to set that in the wet right now. So, yeah, like I said, if he holds on, Verstappen's going to gain points on Hamilton, but he's not going to gain much. He's not going to gain much. And like I said, Vettel's running 9th, and he was 37 points, I believe, behind Hamilton in second. So let's try to do some quick math here. So Vettel gets 2 points. He would shorten the lead to 35 points, but then you add Hamilton's theoretical 19 points, and he's going to get, he can finish in second, 18 per second, and one of the fastest laps of 19.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
His lead over Vettel is going to be, I believe, 54 points. Don't quote me. But that's going to put Vettel, something like Vettel, at an immediate deficit going into the Mexican Grand Prix because, you know, if Hamilton goes out of there with more than a 50-point lead, he's got the championship all locked up. So we'll see where everyone else shakes out, but I feel like, I don't think they're going to be out of it, but just by the fact that they're going to be finishing behind Hamilton, I'm guessing that Bottas and Leclerc, Bottas might still be in
We're
it, but
still
I
happy
think,
that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
I think Leclerc is virtually going to be out of it, and that he'll just be knocked out. It's going to be a formality. I don't recall where Verstappen and Bottas were on points, so they could still be somewhat in contention. As Gasly pulls off, he's out of the race. Looks like an engine problem on his AlphaTauri. Don't think we are going to get a safety car this late into the race.
condition is still looking good.
This late stage of the race is probably going to be the only retirement we're going to get. Unless somebody drops out in the next couple laps.
We advise moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2. There's 4 laps of fuel remaining. Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy. Heavy rain will be staying with us for a while now, at least a 20-minute window of heavy rain.
Coming in 2 to go this time. Verstappen and Hamilton will already be starting the penultimate lap of this race.
Our gap to the car in front is 38.7 seconds.
It blows my mind how far ahead Verstappen and Hamilton are. It blows my mind how far ahead we are compared to Leclerc, too. Just unbelievable that we're so far ahead, honestly.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining. This is your final lap of the race.
Yeah, again, we're basically the length of the front straightaway ahead of Leclerc. I don't know if it's just we're really good in the wet or if Leclerc has some problem, but we just gapped him, just absolutely gapped him. I think I'll set standard, take it out of overtake. Don't really need that at this point. We're well enough ahead. And they come out the final corner. Max Verstappen will hold off Lewis Hamilton to win the U.S. Grand Prix and keep his title hopes alive as we head to the Mexican Grand Prix. Meanwhile, with Lewis Hamilton pushing ahead, we're pretty much going to be out of it. I mean, we were never going to win it in our first season, but we're going to be officially mathematically eliminated. But the strategy worked out just the way I had hoped. We got a bunch of spots on the starts. Everything fell our way in the ensuing laps, and we were in the right position when the rains came, and we're going to score another podium finish. It's going to be at our home Grand Prix. I'll take that.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you've pulled through. Thank you.
Driver of the day? Oh, thank you. Another driver of the day for us.
They take the checkered flag here in Austin after what has been another fabulous Grand Prix. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the
Christian
competition
Horner looked
today?
spooky there
Well,
for whatever reason.
In the tricky wet conditions was really
I don't know,
important.
a little
There's not
sketchy.
much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
I have to say, I do like how it's been pretty much evenly spread with the winners in this career mode. You know, Hamilton and Bottas, or Hamilton still dominate the season, but you know, he's won his fair share of races, but so is Bottas. So as, you know, Verstappen and Vettel. Leclerc did win that one race. We've won a couple too.
So then,
nice
it's
even
time
spread.
to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I'm going to give it to the owner-driver today. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern-day Formula One.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
Alright, so that is the US Grand Prix. No real surprises in the top 10, although I guess I'm a little surprised that Danny Kvyat managed to get points after sticking out a lap longer on the dries when it was raining. Standings, so if my math was correct, Vettel is 54 points behind Lewis Hamilton. Bottas is 56. Verstappen just inside that 50-point marker at 49. So essentially the situation is that, you know, if Verstappen, if he wants to stay alive after Mexico, he just has to finish ahead of Hamilton. It's not really too complicated for him. He just has to, you know, he's 49 points back. Lewis clinches the title in Mexico if he's more than 50 points ahead by the end of the race. So again, all Verstappen needs to do is finish ahead of Hamilton. Whereas with Vettel and Bottas and especially Leclerc, they need not only to finish ahead of Hamilton, but they also need a little bit of luck. They're just at the point where they are going to need some help. So we'll see how things go in Mexico in terms of the constructor standings. McLaren moves ahead of Renault. Well, we are pretty much going to be secure in 4th at this rate. So there you go. There it is, the U.S. Grand Prix. Take care of some housekeeping things, and we'll be right on our way to Mexico.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Chassis and compliments.
You must be thrilled to be up on the podium. You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
Great team and a great car.
How do you feel the weather affected the outcome today?
I'll go with that.
Appreciate your time.
Gained massively on Leclerc in the rivalry. We're on the verge of winning it practically. Acclaim? Tatiana's acclaim went down a little bit. Ours went up. Cash, 749,000 coming in, that's good. As always, like to see that. Gaining $50,000 there. And it's going to come out to $8.08 million. So we're building up that money for when the time comes at the end where we need to sign a new driver. I think we'll be getting a new sponsor too. I'm not sure if that's once we complete the 20th race, which is Mexico, or if it's, you know, when we reach the 20th race. So maybe we'll get a chance to pick a sponsor here. We'll see. Sponsorship renewals. We're going to renew both of those sponsors for sure. We'll go to the car because again it's a little annoying to add those back on. And it looks like we might have to wait until the next race to add that 4th sponsor. We go to customization, car liveries, sponsor decals. That's going to be Atlantic. And this one's going to be Sainetto. So I got DSP Optics, Sainetto, Shark, Atlantic, and Shark. So there you go. Everything's good there. Car looks good. Again, just building up the finances for when it's time to get our driver. Quick updates on some of our keeping an eye on drivers, or the ones we're watching. I think Ricardo is probably going to be pretty unrealistic at this point. Probably the same goes for Perez, so it's probably going to come down to Albon, Russell, Gasly, or Magnussen. So I think it's going to be one of those four guys that we're going to go with. Alright, let's go to... And I brought up... I noticed something funny with the... the facilities where it wouldn't allow you to upgrade... Well, it doesn't show the... Because like if you go to the aerodynamics, when you look at the different parts you can upgrade, it shows you... it shows you the different levels, 1 level, 2 level, 3 level. Or it doesn't show that for these. And I think I know the reason why is that these are obviously the departments that are being reset. So I was wondering, I'd seen that, I was wondering why it was doing that. I guess that is the reason why. Actually, I think we do have enough R&D resource points that we can adapt another part here. We will adapt another engine part. Just take care of that. Just using up the points when we have them. And if everything goes well, this next upgrade should be in time for the Mexican Grand Prix. So we will go to activities. We only have 2 days. Well, I guess the podium celebration party is always good, so we'll do that. And then we'll just fill it up with the driver promotion filming. The podium celebration costs us 15,000, but I think that's okay. We can get away with that. Actually, I forgot, the upgrade won't come until Brazil, so... so that won't be in until Brazil, so we don't have to worry about any upgrades. And there we go. That is it for this race. I will see you at the next one.